Once you know that you have that locus of control, you actually end up making great, amazing progress, right? But if you blame everybody but you, if you act like a victim and everybody's out to get you, then your brain starts imagining that to be real.
Hi, my name is Mo Gayas. Essentially, I'm a kid who's obsessed with winning and sharing the lessons with you because growing up, I wish I had someone like me to help me out. On the Healthy Systems podcast, you will learn one main idea, system from each episode that you can use in your life, whether that is financial, relationships, fitness, and wellness. So if you're a millennial, you're hyper ambitious, this podcast is for you because the more systematic your life is, the more you can win and not waste time. So join me on your journey to building a life of healthy systems for yourself.
Hello. Welcome to Healthy Systems Podcast, everybody. Today's healthy system is why the news is killing your brain cells. I am so freaking passionate about this podcast because I've seen this time and time again last couple of weeks. Actually, for the last many years, because I feel like this issue is as old as time. A lot of us get really bogged down by the news or whatever the propaganda wants us to believe. And I want to start this podcast off by reminding you that you are the only person who can change the course of your life. Other people can help, but at the end of the day, nobody is going to come save you. Nobody's going to come buy you a Ferrari, find you a nice spouse, buy you a new house. Literally, nobody's going to put millions of dollars in your bank account. Nobody will. Only you can do that. So that's number one. You are in control. And last thing I forgot, which is so hilarious, I forgot about this. Nobody is going to come give you abs. Nobody. That's on you too. So at the end of the day, you are the person in control of your life more than anybody in the world. Okay. Why am I reminding you of this? Well, the reason is a lot of you recently that I've been talking to, you've been struggling with some mental health. With the recent elections in the US, and you say words like, oh, with everything going on in the world, I'm feeling this way or that way. And I'm just here to remind you that media's job is to make other people's problems your problems. So at the end of the day, it is super easy to get really sucked into the negative news cycle. Have you ever saw the news share anything really great and positive? It's almost like if you look at the total amount of news that gets delivered every day to the big channels like the CNN and the Fox or whatever, right? Those channels, 98% of the news they deliver is negative news, right? Only 2% is maybe positive. Why do you think that is? Well, it's because the negative news actually gets more views than the positive news, right? People like, yeah, a little bit like pay a little bit attention to the positive news, but our brains are wired to pay attention to negativity more. So this podcast is also very relevant to those of you that also live alone. I was talking to a client recently, and that client, she lives alone, and she was just like really like bothered by a lot of the things happening in the world, and it was just really hurting her fitness journey to a point where she was stress eating, emotional eating, skipping her workouts, and it was just bad, right? And as soon like when I started talking to her as a very empathetic coach, I started realizing that she was falling for that, even though her immediate life did not have many problems. Her job was good, her family was healthy, she lived in a very nice place in America, right? Her immediate life didn't have much problems, but she was just so focused on the problems outside of her control on the other side of the world based on what the news told her, that she was very sad, and it was almost like those were her problems, and she had forgotten that she also had a lot of good in her life. You know what I mean? And as I was getting to know her and talking to her more and getting to know the problem better, I reminded her, I was like, remember, our brain cannot tell the difference between imaginary and real. So that's why a lot of the time when people talk about manifestation and dream big and the positivity, it is actually very valid. If you start focusing on your goals and dream really big and creating a great business or having an amazing life, you will actually start creating that in your head because everything starts in your mind. So if you can imagine it, you can start to create it. But now imagine the opposite too, where you are imagining the negativity and the sadness and the chaos in the world. So then your brain starts creating that in your real life too, right? It starts to create that. So your subconscious brain starts acting on it. So at the end of the day, all of us want good lives. All of us want to live in, at least like in a peaceful mental states. And the way to do that is to not consume negative media all day long. Some people, and I see this a lot, You literally set alarms on your phone, on your iPhones. And then when you wake up in the morning, you literally snooze your alarm like 5 times. And then you start scrolling on your phone. You go on Instagram, you go on Facebook, you go on YouTube, you go on TikTok, and whatever the news channel decide to show you as the big headlines that literally ruins your entire day. Because all of a sudden now, that has become the center of your brain's energy. That has become you. You know what I mean? Even if your instant surroundings are safe, it's sunny outside, the weather is beautiful that day, you could go for a run, you could go for a hike, you could go for a workout, you could eat really nutritious foods, your stores, your grocery stores are full of food. Like your loved ones love you, your family, your boyfriend, your husband, your kids love you, but all of a sudden you're consuming this thing on your phone all day that's just putting negative, 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 negative. Your brain is in this flight and fight mode all day. You're not even able to enjoy your life whatsoever. You're sad, and that sadness just does not serve you. You cannot afford to be sad. One of my good friends, one of my great friends, he's from Mexico, and he says, he's like, well, we were laughing at this one time. He was telling me, he goes, and this is very true, even from where I'm from in Pakistan. He said, back home in Mexico, we cannot afford to be sad. And it was so true. We cannot afford to be depressed. We cannot afford to be anxious. And I think not only in Mexico, we can't afford that anywhere. You know what I mean? When you're always thinking negatively, when you're always sad, what that does is it impacts every area of your life. When you're sad, you're going to stress eat, you're going to emotionally eat, you're going to skip your workouts, you're less likely to move. So it affects your health 100%. When you're sad, it's going to affect your income because whether you run your own business or you work for a job, when you run your own business, no customer is going to hire you if you're always sad. And when you work a job, no boss is going to give you a promotion because nobody wants to work with somebody that's always sad. So it's affecting your income, it's affecting your health. And now let's talk about relationships, right? Nobody wants to be around a sad person. Nobody said, I want to date this sad person out there. Oh, that's like my dream. I just want to be in a relationship with this depressed human that constantly consumes negative news, negative propaganda, and their view of the world is that the world is going to shit and there's nothing that's worth pursuing. Nobody wants to date somebody like that. Why don't we get it? You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I'm going to go back to the opening of this healthy system, which was that nobody controls our lives more than we do. And the media always tells us to forget that part, but it is essential, it's so essential to know. If you want to improve the quality of your life, if you want to improve your health, you have to know that you're in control. You know what I mean? We did a podcast on this 4 weeks ago. What is the number one thing, number one belief that's going to help you get in amazing shape? It is the belief that you can do it and you are in control, right? Once you know that you have that locus of control, you actually end up making great, amazing progress, right? But if you blame everybody but you, if you act like a victim and everybody's out to get you, then your brain starts imagining that to be real. You literally, you walk on the streets of, very beautiful cities and you're worried and you're literally stressed out and you're sad and your reality is that sadness and your reality is that negative news cycle. So at the end of the day, be very careful with what you put into your brain, right? A lot of the time I've done like over 50 podcasts on this healthy systems where we've talked about putting things into your body that are healthy. Like the more healthy stuff you feed your body, the healthier your body gets. We all know that. But same thing with your brain. You feed your brain negative propaganda, sad news, violent stuff all day. It starts to really operate at a very, very low capacity. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, be very careful what you consume because it affects your health, it affects your income, and it also affects your relationship 110% of the time, right? Everybody wants to be around a positive person. And I'm not saying you don't need to be informed. Be informed. Donate to causes you believe in, right? Do all of that. But at the end of the day, don't be reactive all the time. You know what I mean? Don't be that person that wakes up in the morning at 5 a.m. You literally snooze your alarm 5 times, and then the first thing you do is scroll and scroll and scroll. And then now you've really destroyed your whole day. Even in Islam, right? As a lot of my audience is Muslims, in Islam, Allah told us to pray 5 times a day. It is a first to pray 5 times a day. And the first prayer is at 6 a.m. here in Michigan time these days, right? It's bright and early. And the reason for that prayer is you're supposed to get up, you're supposed to wash yourself, and you're supposed to pray because Allah wants you to start your day off on a very positive, holistic, good, mental, healthy place. You know what I mean? Allah doesn't want you to consume news first thing in the morning. He wants you to actually get and pray and worship and you know what I mean, use control over your life and pray to the one Lord. So at the end of the day, that's how we were built. But instead we just focus on the negative news and it puts us in a negative place. And then we're surrounded by other victim mentality type people, and it just makes us more victims. If you don't want the life that that person has, why do you follow that person? You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, if that person is sad, depressed, overweight, and they're telling you to do something, like, it's like, bro, like, I don't, like, that's not the life I want. I don't want to believe in things that take power away from me. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, my life is in my control. And obviously the presidents and the media and all that, like, those things affect me a little bit. The politics affect me. But at the end of the day, I did my part. I casted my vote. I cannot control what other people voted for. I cannot control who does what. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna control on what I can control, and I'll live the best life I can possibly can. So at the end of the day, don't let the media or whatever the news channels destroy your mental health. You are in control. Go get after it. And at the end of the day, everybody wants to be around happy people. Everybody wants to be around healthy people. And everybody wants to give you business and work when you're happy and healthy. So remember that for this week. I'm going to have my team deliver this episode sooner, just because this episode is so good and is so on time, especially around the US elections that just recently happened in 2024. You cannot afford to be sad. You cannot afford to be depressed. Get after it. We got work to do. And then when all the work is done, maybe you can look on your phone and scroll a little bit, but not before the work is done. All right. So hope this helps. I'll see you guys on the next one. Much love. I'll see you at the top.
Thank you for listening to the Healthy Systems podcast. I really appreciate you for tuning in today. Now, here are 2 ways I can help you for free. One, you can join our free Facebook community by just going to this link, bit.ly/Titan Facebook group. Just type that into your browser and then answer 2 questions, and then we'll let you into our Facebook community where you'll meet other people, as well as we have a lot of free resources in terms of meal plans, workouts, all kinds of stuff in there. Second way I can help you for free is if you follow me on Instagram at Mo Gaius, MOE, G as in George, H as in horse, I as in India, A as in apple, S as in Sam. Follow me there and then shoot me a message with the word Healthy Systems, and then I'll be sure to send you a free gift. Other than that, keep listening in, and I really appreciate you.